Commander Jake Morrison pressed his face against the cold glass of the observation deck. His breath made small clouds on the window as he stared out into the darkness of space. What he saw made his blood run cold. Ships. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. They appeared out of nowhere like ghosts coming through the black void. Each one was bigger than anything Earth had ever built. Their hulls gleamed with strange metals that caught the light from distant stars. These were not human ships. Jake grabbed his radio with shaking hands. "Control room, this is Morrison. We have a problem. A big problem." The voice that came back sounded tired. "What is it now, Jake? Another meteor shower?" "No, sir. Ships. Alien. Ships. More than I can count." The radio went quiet for a long moment. Then Admiral Lisa Carter's voice cut through the static. "Morrison, get to the command center, now." Jake ran through the narrow hallways of the orbital defense station. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floors. Other crew members were already running too. Everyone had the same look of fear on their faces. The command center was full of people when Jake arrived. Screens showed radar readings and ship positions. The numbers kept climbing. 300 ships, 400, 500. The alien fleet was huge. Admiral Carter stood in the middle of it all. She was a small woman with gray hair, but her voice could command a room full of soldiers. Right now, her face was pale. "How many ships do we have?" she asked. A young officer looked at his computer screen. 212, ma'am. Most of them are patrol boats and cargo ships. Only 37 are real warships. Carter closed her eyes. Everyone in the room knew what that meant. Earth's fleet was tiny compared to what was coming. A new voice filled the room. It came from the big speakers on the wall. The voice was deep and strange, with sounds that no human throat could make. "People of Earth, I am High Executor Vexithara of the Zephyrian Confederation. Your species has spread too far into our galaxy. You have built colonies where you should not go. You have taken resources that do not belong to you." The alien's voice was calm, like a teacher talking to children. That made it even more scary. "We give you 72 hours. Remove all your people from every world except Earth. Destroy your spaceships. Accept our rule. If you do not do this, we will destroy your planet." The message ended. The command center was quiet, except for the humming of computers. Admiral Carter picked up the phone that connected directly to Earth. "Get me the president. Right now." On Earth, President Richard Hayes sat in the war room deep under the White House. The round table was full of important people. Generals, scientists, and politicians all looked at the screens showing the alien fleet. General Patricia Stone stood up. She was tall and strong, with short brown hair and scars on her hands from old battles. "Mr. President, we need to face the truth. We cannot win this fight. Their ships are too advanced. Their weapons are too powerful. We should think about surrender." "Surrender?" President Hayes slammed his hand on the table. "We will not give up our freedom without a fight. Sir, it would not be a fight. It would be suicide. Look at these numbers." General Stone pointed to the screen. "They have energy shields we cannot break. Their weapons can destroy our biggest ships with one shot. They move faster than anything we have." An old man in the corner cleared his throat. Dr. Elena Rodriguez was small and quiet, but everyone respected her. She had been working on secret projects for 15 years. "Mr. President, may I speak with you alone?" President Hayes looked around the room. "Everyone else, wait outside." When they were alone, Dr. Rodriguez opened a briefcase. Inside were papers marked with red stamps that said "Top Secret." "Sir, for 15 years we have been building something. We call it Project Titan. We started it after the first alien contact in 2010. We knew that someday something like this might happen." She showed him pictures of a massive ship. It was bigger than anything Earth had ever built. The hull was black and covered with strange patterns. "This is the HSS Retribution. We built it in secret using alien technology we found from crashed ships and old ruins on Mars. The ship has weapons that no alien species has ever seen. It has shields that work differently than theirs. It has engines that can make it faster than their fastest ships." President Hayes stared at the pictures. Does it work? We do not know, sir. We have never tested it in real combat. But it is our only chance. Where is it now? Hidden in the shipyards near Europa. We can have it ready to fly in 12 hours. President Hayes thought for a moment. Earth had two choices: surrender and become slaves, or fight with an untested weapon that might not work. Do it. Get the ship ready. Dr. Rodriguez made a phone call. Far away, near Jupiter's moon Europa, lights began to turn on in a hidden base. Workers who had been waiting for this day started their engines and computers. Captain Danny Walsh got the call while he was eating dinner with his wife. He had been chosen 3 years ago to command the Retribution, but he never thought the day would really come. "Danny, it is time," Dr. Rodriguez said over the phone. Captain Walsh kissed his wife goodbye. "I have to go to work." She knew what that meant. Her husband might never come home. The Retribution was beautiful and terrible at the same time. It was 3 kilometers long and covered with weapons that looked like metal flowers. The hull was smooth and dark, like the surface of a deep lake. Captain Walsh walked through the ship's hallways. His crew was already there. They had all volunteered for this mission, knowing it might be their last. Lieutenant Commander Amy Brooks was checking the weapon systems. Chief Engineer Nick Roberts was making sure the engines were ready. "Captain," Amy said, "the main gun is charged to 60%. The shields are working. All weapon systems are green." "How long until we can launch?" Walsh asked. 6 hours, sir." Walsh looked out the window at Earth. It was a small blue dot in the distance, but it was home. Somewhere on that little planet, his wife was waiting for him to come back. "Make it 4 hours," he said. The alien fleet waited in space around Earth like hungry wolves around a sheep. They had destroyed hundreds of worlds before. Earth would be no different. But High Executor Vexithara did not know about the secret weapon hidden near Europa. He did not know that humans were different from other species. When humans were trapped with no way out, they did not just give up. They got angry. And when humans got angry, they became very dangerous. The 72 hours passed like a bad dream. People on Earth watched the sky, waiting for death to come from above. Children cried in their mother's arms. Old people prayed in churches. Everyone knew that something terrible was about to happen. High Executor Vexithara sat on his command ship high above Earth. He looked at the small blue planet through his viewing screen. The humans had not answered his message. They had not moved their ships. They had not surrendered. "Foolish creatures," he said to his officers. "They choose death over wisdom." Vexithara had conquered 47 worlds. He had destroyed 12 different species that refused to join the Confederation. Humans would be number 13. "Begin the attack," he ordered. The alien ships moved like a pack of metal wolves. Their weapons charged up with bright energy. Red beams shot out from hundreds of ships, hitting Earth's defense stations. Commander Jake Morrison watched from his station as the first shots hit. The energy beams were like nothing he had ever seen. They cut through metal like it was paper. They melted steel like it was butter. "All ships, attack formation," Admiral Carter shouted over the radio. "Fight for Earth." Earth's small fleet moved forward to meet the aliens. 200 ships against 3,000. Everyone knew it was hopeless, but they flew anyway. Captain Sam Turner commanded a small ship called the Defiance. It was old and slow, but it was his ship. He had 12 other ships with him in his group. "Stay close to me," he told his pilots. "We go in fast and hit them hard." The human ships fired their missiles and guns at the alien fleet. Some shots hit, but they did no damage. The alien shields were too strong. The human weapons bounced off, like raindrops on a window. But the alien weapons were different. Every time they fired, a human ship died. The energy beams cut through human hulls like knives through bread. Captain Turner watched his friends die one by one. The Courage exploded in a ball of fire. The Liberty broke in half and drifted away. The Freedom tried to run but was caught by 3 alien ships. "This is not working," Turner said to himself. His ship was damaged and leaking air. Half his crew was dead. Then he got an idea. A crazy idea. "All power to engines," he ordered. "We are going to ram them." His remaining crew looked at him like he was insane. Maybe he was. The Defiance flew straight at a big alien cruiser. The aliens probably thought the humans were trying to escape. They did not expect a ship to fly directly at them like a missile. Turner's ship hit the alien cruiser at full speed. Both ships exploded in a bright flash that could be seen from Earth. For a moment, there was a new star in the sky. The alien fleet stopped shooting for a few seconds. They had never seen anything like that before. Most species tried to run when they were losing. Humans flew right at them instead. Down on Earth, Major Carl Phillips was trying to save as many people as possible. He worked in a big city where millions of people lived. The alien ships were starting to bomb the planet. "Get everyone to the underground shelters," he shouted to his soldiers. "Move fast." Families ran through the streets carrying suitcases and children. The alien bombs were falling like deadly rain. But the aliens were being careful. They destroyed military bases and weapon factories, but they left most houses alone. Phillips understood why. The aliens wanted humans alive to be their slaves. Dead slaves were no good to anyone. But even knowing this, people were still dying. A bomb hit a hospital. Another destroyed a school. Phillips felt angry and helpless at the same time. Far away, near Jupiter, the HSS Retribution was finally ready to fly. Captain Danny Walsh stood on the bridge of his secret ship. It was the most advanced weapon humans had ever built. The ship was covered with special metal that could hide it from alien sensors. It looked like a piece of space rock or floating metal. The aliens would not see it coming until it was too late. "Are all systems ready?" Walsh asked. Lieutenant Commander Amy Brooks checked her computers. "Weapons are at full power, sir. Shields are online. The main gun is charged and ready." "Chief," Engineer Nick Roberts called from the engine room. "Captain, the fusion cores are running perfectly. We have more power than any ship has ever had." Dr. Elena Rodriguez was also on the bridge. She had spent 15 years designing this ship. Now she would see if her work could save the human race. "Captain, remember that our shields work differently than alien shields. Their weapons will actually make us stronger, not weaker. The more they shoot at us, the more powerful we become." Walsh nodded. It was hard to believe, but the science was solid. Human engineers had learned to turn enemy weapons into their own power source. "Launch the ship," Walsh ordered. The Retribution left its hiding place and flew toward Earth. It moved slowly and quietly, like a hunter stalking its prey. The ship's computers mapped the positions of every alien vessel. There were so many enemy ships that they covered the sky around Earth like a metal cloud. But Walsh was not afraid. His ship had been built for this exact moment. The Retribution flew through space debris and old satellites. The alien sensors could not tell the difference between the human ship and regular space junk. The disguise was perfect. For 6 hours, the Dreadnought drifted closer to the alien fleet. Walsh and his crew waited in silence. They watched as more human ships died fighting the hopeless battle above Earth. Finally, they were close enough. The biggest alien ship was right in front of them. It was huge, like a metal mountain floating in space. That ship contained the alien commander and all his communication equipment. "Target the command ship," Walsh ordered. "Prepare to fire all weapons." Amy Brooks locked the targeting system onto the alien flagship. "Sir, we have a perfect shot. Range is optimal." Walsh took a deep breath. Everything depended on the next few minutes. If the Retribution failed, Earth would fall. If it succeeded, humanity might have a chance. "Power up all weapons," he said. "Let's show these aliens what humans can do when they get angry." The Retribution began to glow with deadly energy. After 15 years of secret construction, humanity's greatest weapon was finally ready for war. High Executive Vexthara watched the last human ships burn in space. The battle was almost over. Earth's small fleet had been brave, but bravery could not stop superior weapons and technology. "Report," he commanded his officers. "Sir, 90% of human orbital defenses are destroyed. Their fleet is down to less than 50 ships. Surface bombardment is proceeding as planned." Vexthara nodded with satisfaction. This had gone exactly like all his other conquests. The humans had fought hard at first, then their resistance crumbled when they realized how outmatched they were. "Excellent. Begin Phase 2. Target their industrial centers and military bases. Leave the cities mostly intact. We need the population alive for labor purposes. The alien commander felt no guilt about destroying another species' freedom. The Confederation had brought order to 47 worlds this way. Peace through strength, submission through overwhelming force. "Sir," one of his officers called out, "long-range sensors are detecting some kind of debris field approaching from the outer system. It appears to be wreckage from old battles." "Ignore it," Vexithera said without looking. Space was full of floating junk around most worlds. Metal scraps, broken satellites, old ship parts. It was normal. But the debris was not what it seemed to be. Captain Danny Walsh crouched low on the bridge of the Retribution as alien sensor beams swept over his ship. The special coating on the hull made them look like a chunk of twisted metal from a destroyed space station. "Are they buying it?" he whispered to Lieutenant Commander Amy Brooks. She watched her screens carefully. "Yes, sir. Their sensors show us as space debris. We are invisible to them." The Retribution drifted closer to the alien command ship. It was massive, 3 times bigger than anything Earth had ever built. Weapon ports covered its hull like deadly flowers. Shield generators hummed with blue energy. Dr. Elena Rodriguez checked her instruments one more time. "Captain, the gravitational weapon is almost ready. We just need a few more minutes to build up enough power." "How much closer do we need to get?" 2 kilometers would be perfect. At that range, their shields cannot protect them from what we are about to do. Walsh nodded. The plan was simple but dangerous. Get close to the enemy command ship without being detected. Charge up the secret weapon. Fire once and hope it worked. If it failed, the Retribution would be destroyed in seconds. If it succeeded, the entire alien fleet would be thrown into chaos. "Chief," Engineer Nick Roberts called from the engine room. "Captain, the fusion cores are running at maximum safe power. The weapon will be ready to fire in 3 minutes." "Good work, Nick. Everyone stay quiet. We are almost there." The alien command ship grew larger and larger in the view screen. Walsh could see tiny figures moving behind the windows on the bridge. Those were the aliens who had come to destroy his world. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, Major Carl Phillips led another group of civilians to the underground shelters. The alien bombing had stopped for now, but everyone knew it would start again soon. A little girl tugged on his uniform jacket. "Mister, are the monsters going to kill us?" Phillips knelt down and looked into her frightened eyes. "No, sweetheart. The good guys are coming to help us. You just need to be brave a little longer." He hoped he was telling the truth. Phillips had no idea that humanity's secret weapon was floating in space just 2 kilometers from the alien command ship. Back in space, the Retribution had reached the perfect position. The alien flagship filled the entire view screen. Walsh could see weapon turrets and shield generators all over its hull. "Target locked," Amy Brooks reported. "Gravitational. Resonance cannon is charged and ready to fire." Dr. Rodriguez checked her readings one final time. "Captain, this weapon has never been tested in combat. We built it based on theories and computer models. It should work, but we cannot be certain." "What exactly will happen when we fire?" "The weapon creates a field that disrupts the forces holding atoms together. If our calculations are correct, it will cause the target to fall apart at the molecular level." Walsh understood. The alien ship would not explode like a normal weapon would make it explode. It would simply come apart like sand falling through fingers. "And if your calculations are wrong, then we all die, and Earth falls to the aliens." Walsh looked around the bridge at his crew. These men and women had volunteered for a mission they knew might be suicide. They were ready to die for their planet and their families. He opened a communication channel to the alien flagship. It was time to let the enemy know they had made a terrible mistake. "High Executor Vexithera, this is Captain Danny Walsh of the Human Defense Force." On the alien command ship, officers looked at each other in confusion. Where was this transmission coming from? "We are receiving a human signal, sir," one of them reported. "But our sensors show no ships in this area." Vexithera frowned. "Put it on the main screen." Walsh's voice filled the alien bridge. "High Executor, You made one critical error in your planning. You assumed humans would fight like every other species you have conquered. You thought we would panic and surrender when we saw your superior numbers. Impossible, Vexthara muttered. We destroyed their entire fleet. You destroyed our regular fleet, Walsh continued. But you did not know about our secret weapon. For 15 years we have been preparing for this day. We knew that someday someone like you would come to take our freedom. The alien sensors suddenly detected the Retribution. The stealth coating had been turned off, revealing the massive human warship floating just 2 kilometers away. How did they get so close? Vexthara shouted at his officers. Walsh's voice remained calm. You are about to learn why it is dangerous to threaten the human race. We do not surrender. We do not give up. When you corner us, we become more dangerous than you ever imagined. All ships fire on that vessel, Vexthara ordered. Hundreds of alien weapons turned toward the Retribution. Energy beams lanced out from every direction, hitting the human ship with enough power to destroy a small moon. But something impossible happened. Instead of exploding, the Retribution began to glow brighter. Its shields absorbed the incoming energy and converted it into power for its own systems. Impossible, Vexthara screamed. No species has technology like that. You are right, Walsh replied. No species has ever needed technology like this. You forced us to build it. Dr. Rodriguez smiled as she watched the weapon charge levels climb higher and higher. Every shot the aliens fired was making their secret weapon more powerful. Captain, she said quietly, we are ready to fire. Captain Danny Walsh took a deep breath. His finger hovered over the firing button that could change everything. Around him, his crew waited in silence. The bridge was filled with the sound of computers humming and energy building up in the weapon systems. Fire, Walsh said quietly. Lieutenant Commander Amy Brooks pressed the button that activated humanity's most powerful weapon. The gravitational resonance cannon discharged with a sound like thunder mixed with the howling of wind. Space itself seemed to bend around the Retribution. Reality twisted and warped as invisible forces reached out toward the alien command ship. The effect was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. High Executor Vexthara watched from his bridge as something impossible happened to his flagship. The hull began to shimmer like water in sunlight. Metal that had been solid for hundreds of years started to look fuzzy around the edges. What is happening to my ship? He screamed at his officers. But his officers had no answers. Nothing in their training had prepared them for this. They watched in horror as their weapons stopped working. Their computers began to malfunction. Their shields flickered and died. The gravitational weapon was tearing apart the very atoms that held the ship together. Molecule by molecule, the massive alien Dreadnought began to fall apart. It did not explode like a normal weapon would cause. There was no fire or smoke. The ship simply dissolved like sugar in hot water. Piece by piece, it came apart and drifted away into space as tiny particles. Vexthara had just enough time to understand what was happening before his command chair dissolved beneath him. The last thing he saw was the hull of his ship turning into cosmic dust. The alien flagship, 3 kilometers of the most advanced military technology in the galaxy, vanished in less than 30 seconds. Where once there had been a mighty warship, now there was only empty space and scattered atoms. The effect on the rest of the alien fleet was immediate and terrifying. Thousands of alien officers watched their command ship disappear like a bad dream. Many of them had never seen a weapon that could completely destroy matter itself. By the void, whispered Sub-Executor Krydan, the second in command of the fleet. What kind of monsters are these humans? Panic spread through the alien ships like a disease. Some captains ordered their vessels to retreat immediately. Others tried to continue the attack, but without central coordination, their efforts were confused and weak. Captain Walsh did not give them time to recover. The Retribution's regular weapons came online, and the human ship began hunting alien vessels like a shark among small fish. The first target was a large alien cruiser that was trying to organize a counterattack. The Retribution's plasma cannons fired with perfect accuracy. The shots hit weak points in the alien armor that Dr. Elena Rodriguez had studied for years. The cruiser exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the darkness of space. Debris scattered in all directions, some pieces hitting other alien ships and causing more damage. Target the carrier ships, Walsh ordered. Make them afraid. Amy Brooks selected another target. Firing solution locked, sir. The second alien ship died just as quickly as the first, then a third, then a fourth. Each shot was perfectly placed to cause the most spectacular destruction possible. The human ship moved through space like a deadly dance partner, spinning and turning to avoid enemy fire while its own weapons never missed their targets. The advanced engines made it faster and more maneuverable than any alien vessel. On Earth's orbital defense station, Commander Jake Morrison watched the battle through his telescopes. At first, he could not believe what he was seeing. "Is that one of our ships?" he asked Admiral Lisa Carter. "It must be," she replied, but her voice was full of wonder. "But where did it come from? We do not have anything that powerful." The human defense fleet, what was left of it, began to regroup. The surviving captains realized that something had changed. The alien fleet was no longer acting like a unified force. Individual ships were making their own decisions, and many of those decisions involved running away. Captain Ben Foster, commanding one of the last human destroyers, opened a radio channel to his remaining pilots. "All ships form up on me. The aliens are confused. This is our chance to hit them hard." The small human ships attacked with new confidence. Their weapons were still weaker than the alien guns, but now the aliens were not fighting back with the same coordination as before. Meanwhile, the Retribution continued its deadly work. Chief Engineer Nick Roberts pushed the engines to maximum power as Captain Walsh hunted the largest alien ships. Each one that died sent shockwaves through the enemy fleet. "Captain," Amy Brooks reported, "the aliens are trying to form a new command structure. That big ship over there is sending orders to the others. Then we destroy it too," Walsh replied. The human Dreadnought turned toward its next target. This ship was even bigger than the first command vessel, a massive carrier that held hundreds of alien fighter craft. The Retribution's weapons fired again. Railguns sent metal slugs through space at incredible speeds. Plasma cannons melted holes in alien armor. Energy weapons that Earth had never possessed before tore through enemy shields like they were made of paper. The alien carrier tried to escape, but it was too slow. The Retribution caught it and destroyed it in a series of explosions that could be seen from Earth's surface. Dr. Rodriguez monitored the gravitational weapons status from her station. "Captain, the main gun is ready to fire again. The alien fleet still has over 2,000 ships. We can destroy their largest vessels and scatter the rest." "Do it," Walsh said. "Show them what happens when they threaten Earth." The second shot from the gravitational cannon targeted a group of alien battleships that were trying to reform their attack lines. The invisible force reached out and touched 5 ships at once. All 5 vessels dissolved simultaneously, their atoms scattered to the solar wind. The sight was so terrifying that several nearby alien ships immediately broke formation and fled toward deep space. Sub-Executor Krydan realized that his fleet was falling apart. The humans had somehow developed a weapon that could destroy any ship instantly. His forces were being slaughtered by a single enemy vessel that seemed impossible to damage. "All ships," he broadcast on the fleet frequency, "request permission to negotiate with the humans." The words felt like poison in his mouth. The Zephyrian Confederation had never negotiated with a species they were conquering. They had always been the ones dictating terms to defeated enemies. But now, for the first time in hundreds of years, the Confederation fleet was the one asking for mercy. Captain Walsh received the alien transmission on his bridge. The fear in the alien commander's voice was clear, even through the translation software. Walsh looked around at his crew. They had done the impossible. One human ship had defeated the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. Earth was safe, but the war was not over yet. Sub-Executor Krydan stood on the bridge of his ship with shaking hands. Half of his fleet was destroyed or running away in panic. The humans had done something that should have been impossible. They had turned a hopeless battle into a complete victory with just one ship. "Open a channel to the human vessel," he ordered his communications officer. The officer's face was pale with fear. "Sir, are we really going to surrender to these creatures?" "We are going to survive," Krydan replied. "That is what matters now." Captain Danny Walsh received the alien transmission on the bridge of the Retribution. The alien's voice was different now. Gone was the arrogance and superiority. Now there was only fear and desperation. Human Captain, this is Sub-Executor Krydan of the Zephyrian Fleet. We request terms for immediate ceasefire. We wish to discuss surrender conditions. Walsh looked at Dr. Elena Rodriguez. She nodded slowly. The plan had worked better than anyone had dared to hope. Sub-Executor, Walsh replied, I will accept your request for negotiations, but first, order all your ships to stop attacking Earth immediately. Any ship that fires another shot will be destroyed. Understood, Krydan said quickly. All ships, ceasefire immediately. Full stop on all offensive operations. Across the alien fleet, weapons powered down and ships pulled back from Earth's atmosphere. The bombing of the planet stopped. The attack on human space stations ended. For the first time in 3 days, the war was quiet. On Earth's surface, Major Carl Phillips emerged from an underground shelter to see clear skies above. The alien ships were still there, but they were no longer dropping bombs. Children came out of hiding and pointed at the strange vessels hanging in space like metal clouds. Are we safe now? Asked the little girl who had spoken to him before. Phillips smiled and picked her up. Yes, sweetheart, the good guys won. In the orbital defense station, Commander Jake Morrison and Admiral Lisa Carter watched the alien fleet through their telescopes. The enemy ships were moving away from Earth, creating a safe zone around the planet. I still cannot believe it, Morrison said. One human ship defeated 3,000 alien vessels. Carter shook her head in amazement. 15 years of secret construction. 15 years of preparing for this exact moment. Someone was thinking far ahead. The negotiations took place in space between the two fleets. Captain Walsh brought the Retribution to a neutral position where both sides could meet safely. The alien ship that came to negotiate was small and unarmed, a clear sign of submission. Dr. Rodriguez joined the meeting as humanity's chief scientist and weapons expert. She wanted to make sure the aliens understood exactly what they were dealing with. Sub-Executor Krydan arrived with 3 of his surviving officers. They looked nervous and defeated. These were beings who had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had never faced anything like human determination. Captain Walsh, Krydan began, we admit that we underestimated your species. Your weapon technology is beyond anything we have encountered. We are prepared to withdraw our fleet and leave your system. Walsh leaned back in his chair. That is not enough, Sub-Executor. Your Confederation came here to destroy our freedom. You bombed our planet and killed our people. Withdrawal is not sufficient. The alien commander looked confused. What else do you want? We are offering you victory. We will leave and never return. Dr. Rodriguez spoke for the first time. We want more than just victory, Sub-Executor. We want to change the relationship between humanity and the galaxy. I do not understand. Walsh smiled. For too long, your Confederation has decided which species deserve freedom and which ones should be slaves. You have conquered world after world, forcing other races to accept your rule. That ends now. You cannot expect us to free all our subject worlds, Krydan protested. The Confederation has maintained order in this galaxy for 1,000 years. Order through fear, Dr. Rodriguez replied. Order through overwhelming force, but what happens when that force meets something stronger? She activated a small device that showed holographic images of the battle they had just fought. The aliens watched their flagship dissolve into atoms. They saw their mighty fleet scattered by a single human vessel. Your technology is superior to most species, she continued. But it is not superior to human innovation. We built this weapon not because we wanted to conquer anyone, but because we refused to be conquered ourselves. Walsh stood up and walked to the window that showed both fleets floating in space. Sub-Executor, humanity is offering the Confederation a choice. You can continue trying to rule the galaxy through fear, and we will oppose you every time. Or, you can join us in building something better. What are you proposing? Partnership instead of domination. Trade instead of tribute. Freedom for all species instead of slavery for the weak. Krydan looked at his officers. They were all thinking the same thing. The human weapon could destroy any ship in their fleet instantly. If humanity decided to become conquerors instead of defenders, the Confederation would fall within months. And if we agree to these terms, the alien asked, what do we receive in return? Dr. Rodriguez smiled. Access to gravitational manipulation, technology, medical advances that could extend your lifespans by centuries, faster than light travel improvements that will let you explore beyond the edge of known space. The alien's eyes widened. These were technologies his species had been trying to develop for generations. There is one condition, Walsh added. Humanity becomes a full member of the galactic community with equal rights and protections. No more demands for surrender. No more threats of destruction. We are partners, not subjects. The negotiations continued for 6 hours. In the end, Sub-Executor Krydan agreed to all human terms. The Confederation would grant Earth full membership in the Galactic Alliance. All species under Confederation rule would be given the choice to remain or become independent. The age of conquest by superior force was over. 3 months later, Captain Walsh stood on the bridge of the Retribution as it escorted the first human diplomatic mission to the Confederation capital world. The ship that had been built for war was now being used to secure peace. Dr. Rodriguez worked beside him, preparing technical data to share with alien scientists. The gravitational technology that had saved Earth would now benefit every species in the galaxy. Captain, Amy Brooks called from her station. We are receiving a message from Earth. President Hayes wants to congratulate us on the successful mission. Walsh smiled as he looked out at the stars. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger than ever. They had proven that determination and innovation could overcome any obstacle. The galaxy would never be the same. For the first time in 1,000 years, freedom was more powerful than fear. And it had all started with one human ship that refused to surrender. Take us home, Amy, Walsh said. We have a new future to build. The Retribution turned toward Earth, carrying with it the promise of a better tomorrow for all species in the galaxy. Humanity had not just saved themselves, they had saved everyone.